Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about brewing using the Moka Pot. I'm going to give away these 3 Moka Pots with some coffee, and I'm going to decide whether the Moka Pot deserves a place on my kind of shelf of fame behind me here. This is a brewing kit I think deserves a special place because of the kind of coffee it can produce. I'm ashamed to say, for a long time, I've never got to grips with this brewing method. Used it a long time ago, and it kind of got pushed to one side in favour of other methods. But a while back, I made a commitment to understand it better, learn it better, and to see if I can come up with a really nice way of brewing coffee using the Moka Pot. The one thing that struck me is it's all about flow rate. Every time I got the flow rate of the water through the coffee right, I got a really nice brew. I didn't start wonderfully well, and here's my first attempt. I am an impatient person, so my idea was stick it on a hot plate and get the thing going as quick as I could. This is what happened. There you can see it took about 10 seconds from the moment the liquid started to appear until it got carried away and spat all over the place. Not the best beginning. Few goes later, a little bit of trial and error, and I got down to a flow rate that I think is about perfect for the Moka Pot. And the difference between the two is huge. That first one where it was out of control, it took 10 seconds from the first appearance of the liquid through to the end of the brew, and there was no control there. That's 10 seconds for the water to dissolve all the solids it needs. The second example, under control, the whole thing took 30 seconds. So from the first appearance of the coffee to the end, 30 seconds, 3 times longer. It's able to dissolve a lot more of those solids, and I got a much more balanced, sweeter, enjoyable brew every single time. The one thing that had the biggest impact was controlling the flow rate. Honest answer is I don't think anyone's better than the other. They show off the coffee in different ways. With my hot water brews, I tended to get coffees with more acidity, but had a real juicy nature. Whereas with my cold water brews, I got a more balanced brew and the body seemed to increase. Grind-wise, I went for kind of a medium coarse grind. I didn't want to go too fine. The one thing I was trying to do was to control what I found in the early days of being quite a harsh, bitter, overly strong tone to the Moka Pot. So I wanted to go for a grind that was kind of going to slow down the extraction a little bit. This is a 3-cup Moka Pot, and I ended up with a 16-gram dose that worked best for me. On the grind setting I was using, if I went down to a 14 or a 12-gram dose, I lost control of that flow rate. The depth of coffee was too small and I couldn't control the water. At 16 grams, I got it all under control. I got a lovely flow rate and I felt it gave me the correct strength in the final cup. I was hoping to create a single cup brew out of here that was drinkable straight away. Anything above 16 grams and the strength kind of tipped beyond where I prefer my coffee to be. Cutting the brew off before that last kind of blonding bit was something I picked on as being worth investigating. Now, out of interest, when the flow was right, when I got it just about right, all I had to do was lift the pot off the stove and the brew stopped straight away, no issues. And to me, you know that you've got the flow rate right when the brew stops straight away. When the flow rate was a little bit quick, I lost control of it, I had to be or do something extra to stop the brew. I'd read about using a tap and dousing the bottom chamber into a tap. And believe me, trying to get from my stove to my sink in the kitchen with a Moka Pot that's kind of bubbling up isn't the safest thing to do. So I simply got a cloth soaked in cold water and I rested the Moka Pot on the cloth to stop the brew. My recipe that I ended up with is a 16-gram dose, and I got 175 mils of water in this bottom chamber. Remember, it's a 3-cup Moka pot. I used a medium coarse grind, and the temperature of my stove was just about right that it took about 3 minutes for the whole brew cycle. So all the heating of the water through to the actual brewing through the coffee bed. And it had about a 30-second brew cycle, and it stopped straight away. That worked for me. If you want to have a go, I want to have a crack at this and see where I ended up. I have these 3 Moka pots that are kind of surplus requirements now. I've had a go with them. I've got another one at home. These were there on the top to try different combinations. I'm going to give the 3 of them away. I'm also going to give away some of this coffee, which is the coffee that I used, Pablo Emilio Montoya from Colombia. It's a double fermented coffee. It's delicious. There's fruity, floral tones in there, and it's kind of got a boozy, ale-y undertone that was really nice in the Moka pot. And to make life a little bit easier, I'm also going to throw in a reference grind. So I'm going to grind some of this exactly as I ground it in my grinder at home to give you a sense of how to calibrate your grinder to the Moka pot. So if you want to have a go at winning this, then have a look in the details in the description below. Finally, is it a keeper? Is it a brewing method that I think deserves a place on my kind of shelf of fame over here? Do you know what? A month ago, I'd have said no. A month ago, I'd just put it to one side, left it in the cupboard, and probably would not have picked up a Moka pot again. Bit of perseverance, bit of time and effort into it to get it right. And do you know what? I've been enjoying every single brew I've made using this method. It's been around for a long time. It's a relatively cheap piece of kit to pick up. And do you know what? For the price you pay for it and the quality of the brew that I got out of it, yeah, it definitely does deserve a place on this shelf. If you've got any thoughts, questions or comments, please feel free to get in touch. In the meantime, thanks for watching.